folks. Well, I had in my head today that I was going to go back to working on the hex crawl as I've been doing. Even came up with some cool names. I even wrote a blog post about it, which you can go to hexed.press and check out. And I also posted it to the forums and other places, but interrupted by this. I forget where I saw it, but apparently I don't know if an original, but one of I guess they call them what the Bunch gentleman by the name of Bill Hoyt has dropped their campaign notes in PDF form. One of the early players of D&D. It seemed like a lot of fun, and it seemed like it was too good to pass up. Now, I don't know how large this document is. Haven't opened it. There's links in the show description. It's free on Itch. You can just go to Itch and download it. Haven't looked inside, so I have no idea how involved this will be. This might be part one of X. I definitely don't have 4 hours today like I did the other day when we looked at Daggerheart. So this will not be a marathon stream, but let's see how far we can get and just get into it. How about helpful I had my stuff in the right place. Okay, my old campaign by Bill Hoyt, edited by Rob Ritchie, and I'm probably gonna jump around. I'm not gonna read everything. I'm gonna go where inspiration takes us, but it's probably good to read the intro because that'll give us the context for this bad boy. I got my copy of Dungeons and Dragons at Gary Gygax's house, and we took it home right before we had bought the funny dice, since we called them the funny dice, and brought those things home. And it took a couple of months before the group wanted to try this new game we had bought, Dungeons and Dragons. And they asked me to look into how it was played. And so the next thing I did was to start reading how it worked. Well, in the pamphlet about underworlds and dungeons, that is volume 3, the Underworld and Wilderness Adventures, in order to have a play this game, you have to have a dungeon. And so there was a page on which Dave and Gary had put in 8 different types of hallways. And so I figured, well, I've got this new funny 8-sided dice, so use it. So I numbered each one of them, 1 through 8, and started rolling up a dungeon. And when it turned a direction, I would roll a 10-sider because it was the dodecahedron, which means 20-sider. But but we only used 10 at that time. And that would tell me how far I went before I had to roll for another direction and another type of hallway. And then I would roll to see if where there were doors and rooms or if there were secret doors, or every time it turned down those. There was the random table again in the pamphlet, and Underground's telling me what kind of critters might be in the rooms, and I wouldn't tell him until we started playing the dungeon. And then I would roll randomly to see what was in the room, and then how much they had and how many critters. Okay, so we get a little bit of a, and a lot of this. I'm not sure. Uh, it seems like if this was handwritten notes that were typed. I don't know the background, unfortunately, of where the text came from. It's a little bit rough in spots. I'm just going to roll with it and try to do the best I can in the moment. I don't even know if there's going to be a lot of it, but we can see here. I don't know if this would be the first kind of random dungeon kind of thing, but there it is, right? Oh, there are 8 different types of hallways. Look, I got an 8-sided die. Let's roll it and put some stuff together. Oh, there's a stocking table. Well, let's stock some stuff. And then we end up with a room which she's called here the Maze of Mystery. Notice it doesn't seem to be numbered or anything yet, unless those are numbers. I see this looks like V, or maybe they are. I don't know. Hard to say what those are, but cool. Whoops. What's, what's control? There we go. After we got done playing in the dungeon for a period of time, we decided that we wanted to try the outdoor encounters, and I found an old map that Dave Arneson had given me of the year Civil War campaign that he was running, so I used that. I changed the names and not telling them where they were reusing the map, as I would tell them what was on the map, and rolling encounters again using tables right out of the original books. After this had gone for a while, I decided to make my own world so I could go on before I had even talked to Dave. So, I mean, and this is like the classic kind of inspirational material. Like, oh, look, I got an old map. Let's change the names. Let's go. Let's do it. And then I'll make my own at some point. And so we see, I'm guessing this, I don't know if this is his original map or maybe this is the Civil War map. And then this one on the facing page is his map. And Dave said, start your own world. And so by this time, I had got a copy of a game called Search for the Source of the Nile. In the game, there was a mapping tool. I used hex graph paper and rolling dice to map the coast of the continent of my world. I worked for about a week to a month before I finished where the lines met. I ended up with a map that filled a whole ping pong table. Wow, that's a big map. It also told me where the mouths of rivers came out to the coastline, using the mountains and making a map of the winds. I found where deserts and climates were. Oh wow. Might have to check out that book. Anyone familiar with that game? Search for the source of a Nile. I kind of feel like is there going to be a run on that game? Is everyone who's looking at this book is going to go like, I need that game? That seems pretty cool. Seems pretty cool. Okay, so there we have a map. Oh, and here it looks like kind of a, is that the cleaned up? Is that looks like that must be sort of the cleaned up version of this map. That looks mighty nice. Search. I'm just curious. Search for a source of a Nile. Interesting. I'll have to see what that see if anything comes up. Okay. So here we go. Whoops. No, that's not what I want. No. Maybe I need to go single page. Let's change it. It's not as I know it doesn't fill the page, but maybe if I go single, then I can zoom in and stuff and it won't go wacky. So let's try that. All right. Oh yeah, this is probably better for our purposes. Okay. All right. So we've got a lot of kingdoms here. North Rune Sea, the Great North Runic Sea, Rune Sea again. Oh, it's all the Rune Sea. Okay. We were really into Jack Vance's Dying Earth, so I put the different spells in different places all over the map. And as the players traveled around, they discovered the different spells and were able to add them to their spell books. That's really clever. And I guess we have a list of are these what is this exactly? I see people's names. I see stars, I see numbers. Are there spells that go with those numbers? Or is that just the oh my chair is dipping down. Okay. Settlers of Catan make an appearance. 96. Items or other. All right. So this is just stuff. So we have a box of mini jewels, a gleamer guard, starstone, items or others. Mirror of seeing, wishing plant. That's supposed to be a striking stone, the wise one. Ooh, a tiny horse of gold, the water of death. I feel like this is it seems to be so much bring me back to kind of the first. I wish I had stuff from when I was. I mean, I came to the game a lot. I don't know how old this person is, but it seems like they came to us maybe more of an adult. But this is one where I'm like, man, this kind of brings me back to the kind of stuff you just did as a kid, in which you're just taking stuff and you're not really worried about it making a whole bunch of sense, or uh, it's just let's just go, and I kind of miss that a bit. I think as an adult, I think I don't know if the internet helps or hurts. It probably hurts. I've mentioned this before. I feel like people will drill in on these details and make mountains out of molehills and just get really. And when it was back in the day, it was just kinda like I don't know, like oh the XP is in a weird like oh their XP levels kind of go up and or the requirements for levels go in kind of in a way interesting way. It's like okay, I mean like nobody studied that stuff. And granted, there's now I'm not saying there's not value to all that stuff, but I feel like there's a certain case where so here we see a note just about basically we're gonna see stuff from the atlas. So we're getting into what does this say? If you look at the original map, you see it's divided into sections. Okay, so sections. Key, number, code. Okay. I see. So we have town or city. We have sea, river, woods, desert, road, swamp, farms, jungle, castles. Ooh, a magician gets their own thing. A bridge and abandon. I guess maybe a ruin. Do they don't have another ruin thing, so maybe it's ruin. Magical items get their own thing. Volcanoes, a magical place, and cliff lines. Awesome. So it seems like he took his map and simplified it down into this kind of like seems like a very early version of what a hex crawl kind of thing might look like, in which you have that detailed version of the map, and now you have taken that map and you have uh, essentially you made an abstraction. Within this case, he's using squares rather than hexes, but the same kind of thing. Now you're really zooming out, and now you're just using it He's just giving over a really broad overview, and then each page is gonna have its own thing. Ian points out the squares instead of hexes on this channel. I know, right, Ian? It's like a sacrilege. But we'll make an allowance in this case only. And plus, he might not have had access to graph paper. I mean, to hex paper. I mean, certainly when I was a kid, I don't think I had hex paper hanging around. I don't even know if I would have known where to get hex paper. All right, so what do we got here? So we have Impala people, 400 of them. EC points. I don't know what that is. Is that a Blackmore thing? I might. And I'm not. I have Blackmore materials. In fact, right beneath me, I've got the Blackmore book somewhere down here. Where easy. And I have First Fantasy campaign, and I've got some stuff. But I'm not. I can't say that I'm super in tune with Blackmore. So here's the Blackmore. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Well, I've got some stuff for Blackmore, but I'm not. I can't say I'm super conversant in Blackmore isms. I don't know if EC points is just something that they came up with, or if it's something from Blackmore, or if it's something for ODD that I just don't remember. 4,600 crowns. I wonder if that's kind of their gold. They're using crowns. 4 to 5 knights. 72, maybe to 100. 72-10 knights. Spear plus shield in the country. 632. Total population 1,032. 50 men army. Communist army, maybe. Heroes and Homebrew says graph paper would definitely be more accessible when we were younger, especially during math class. Yes. I feel like I always had graph paper around. I'm kind of curious if anyone knows what EC points are. I'm just sort of curious as to what those are. Maybe economic points? 13-17. Or are these, should I be looking at these numbers? 72? No, it doesn't go past 25. So it's not where it is on the map. 13 to 17 Sable people. Or I guess that's 13. Oh, 13-17 is probably the location. 17. Maybe they're I guess this is inside that square. So right in there. That's the Sable people. Oh, 7. Oh, wait a minute. I think maybe no, that's 12-10. Maybe I'm just reading the number wrong. What's 12-10? 12-10 is no, that's out at sea. What's about 10? Nope, that's also out at sea. I'm not sure. I think these must be 4-15. 4-15 would be a castle, but it's not this place here, which is at 6-17. Oh, 6-17 is the Impala people. Okay, so where the heck is 12-10? 12-10. There's nothing there. Middle of the middle of the water. Not sure what's going on, but at least that makes more sense in terms of that. All right. We'll have to figure it out. And I think this is overall, I think this is square 13. This corresponds to going to the big map, square number 13. Got Sable people. Wonder what Sable people are. So we have Impala people, Sable people. And he keeps writing communist in blue, but we don't know what it means. Because there's like a mix. Well, I guess Sable people's in blue too. I guess I suppose there's I mean, there must be a story somewhere about, because I imagine if you're writing it, to me anyway, either the person has a color scheme, which they might because they have their drawing in the map, they got everything, or they're writing it at different times. I just can't tell if, because we see here the graph, the big squares they've written in blue, and then they've also written these notes in blue, but then the other stuff's in black, and I don't know what it means. And sometimes I guess they're intermixed, or is that blue and just looks blackish? Well, that one's definitely mixed up. Oh, there's 10. No, that's 5, 10. It's like a little island or something. Any case, Sable people, potentially communists, and some castles and some knights. And then 24-15, is it that little stretch of land right there? Okay, right there, there's another dot. Yep, 24-15. 300 army I guess they are forms of government. They must be maybe they're rolling on tables. Hey, Perkins, happy Friday to you. Maybe they're rolling on some kind of table for their form of government because now okay, this makes it seem clear. So we have these are the Impala people and the Sable people are all communists. However, there is would that be a constitutional monarchy of whomever those people are, and they've got or are those just on the map? So there's a star, which is there's a super speed or I dot super speed. Not sure super speed what exactly, don't know. And then it's 1621, which is I guess one of these. Maybe no, can't be. Over here. Yep, 1621. We've got a box of mini jewels. Perkins says, "Looks like a lot of what he did back in high school in 1979." Yeah, I think this is going to be reminiscent of what a lot of us did. I did not have these kind of things in detail, at least not that I recall. I wish. Oh, we got bison people. There's a lot of animal chimera folk or animal humanoids. We had sable people, impala people, now bison people. More castles, knights. I like these populations in the rest. 183 total population was that 383 EC points. I'm gonna say that's economics, but can't say. They're male chain bow and they're a monarchy. And there's something of invulnerability down here. Is that like in the water? Is there an little island? Supposed to be a little island here? Is it bobbing on the ocean? Is it on the bottom? And this, I thought maybe it was Glamour Guard, but it's Gleamer Guard. I'm not even sure what that is. Is anyone Gleamer? Does that ring a bell to anybody? That is over there. It's definitely an interesting way of stocking. I've never really thought about stocking things and putting, and as part of the stocking as an STOCK, stocking, not stalking, stocking of I guess squares, hexes, bits of terrain, having things like spells and items as part of your basic stocking matrix list. Perkins says they used the Judges Guild's Village Book One tables and had to look everything up. Yep. Yeah, it doesn't say if you use it. It seems like from the kind of intro section, it these must be spells. Dematerialize. I'm gonna say that those are spells. It's just interesting that the spell is in the ocean, unless there's supposed to be an island there. Doesn't look like there is, unless we just know that there's never spells floating. I'm kind of curious where those came up from. Because they had no clue what an oligarchy or agrarian government. Yeah, I would not have had. Like I said, I don't know. We don't have an age, so I don't know how old this person is. That's one thing that wasn't told. I don't know if it's a teenager, a college person, past college. No idea. I feel like it must be somebody at least a little bit older, or because one, they don't have the Judges Guild stuff isn't existing yet. This is, I think this dates, and I don't think it's all dated, but I think this is from 1974 kind of and forward. So there's no Judges Guild village books to look at. There's no ready reference sheets yet. Basically, there's just stuff from other games, stuff that he was maps that these are his own maps, but he's also given at least one set of maps by Dave Arneson, and you got the books from Gary Gygax. A lot of stuff doesn't exist, so you're just coming up with stuff, which is why I'm curious where EC points come from. If that's a homebrew thing or if it's from another game. Is it, is there another? Because he mentions Search for the Nile as uh a game reference that they used. Um, is there another game? Is there another game out there that was in use? Don't know. So we just kind of gotta just take it. But they might not have had a lot of this stuff. So I'm imagining someone who's at least a little older because they're coming up with things like Federation and whatnot. And they're, but can't say. But they're coming up with stuff, fairly in depth. Whether they're using some kind of generator to come up with numbers or whether they have some kind of thought process behind it. But they're coming up with population numbers, And then, so we get 300,109 for the total population of this area. No, and interestingly though, they're not named. None of these locations so far have specific names to them. Now, the people have had names just in terms of they have, I guess, types. Maybe, we saw Impala people, bison people, sable people, but there hasn't been any given any flavor yet to them. It's not the United Federation of whatever. It's just these are the type of people, this is their type of government. So that's kind of interesting too. What is this here? Oh, we got some. Hold on a minute. What does that say? Land of food two. Is that supposed to reads like cacana, cocaine? I don't know. Or maybe this is the first time we're getting a place. 5-22. So where are we looking here? 5. So we're talking about this little curvature up here. Land of food, house of sugar, street of pastry, mount of cheese, roast pig walking. Wow. Here's an homebrew. Oh, Perkins says Oregon Trail was a wilderness survival game that they had back in the day. Yeah, Perkins. I can only. I have no idea. Right. I can only speak to the references that have been mentioned thus far, and that wasn't referenced. Does that mean they didn't use it? No, they just didn't say. Can't say. I'm not going to really speculate above and beyond what they're giving us. And Harrison Homebrew says that these pages look like an early version of the D30 Sandbox Companion. Well, we haven't actually got to really tables yet, right? But in terms of maybe the output of a proto, any kind of thing, like this definitely is the output of would seem to be some kind of table stuff. Just don't know where they are or where they got them from. Roast pig walking, dead man walking. Yeah, I don't know. Hey, Fluffy. Yeah, I'm not sure, but unfortunately, we just have these really cryptic references. It sounds like a riddle, right? The land of food. What is, Bilbo, says to, Gollum says, "Give me a riddle." Yes. Bilbo goes, what is a land of food, a house of sugar, a street of pastry, a mount of cheese, and a roast pig walking? And then it turns out to be, the gravy. It is simple, something like that. But don't know. And it's on like it's. I mean, I don't know how big these squares are, but it's in the land of Cocania. Now we have here is our first. Now I don't know. We don't know about Cocania if that's a place or if that's referring to something, or I just don't know what it is. I'm just ignorant of it. Here we have our first seems like named kind of spot, which is Athens. And here we have Dan Sa. Don't know if that's a fictional name or a player's name, or is that 24-15? Would that be that X? Yep. Looks like maybe that's a fortress. 22-15. Oh, 24. Oh, I see. That's that town. Maybe there's a castle with, or there at that are the knights. I don't know what this one. 86, 10 knights. I guess maybe 86 inhabitants. The 10. Yeah, that must be it. I guess reading these figures here underneath the castles. I've seen this a few places and it hasn't totally made sense to me. But maybe it is that in the castle, 86 people, 10 of whom are knights, and then outside of that, 115 people. Or is it? I don't know. 8610 and then the rest 115 for then the total would be 115 plus 86 plus 10? Not sure. Rest total population. All right, so we start off with 75. We got 115, 10, 125, 86. Yeah, these numbers all add up together because then you get 201. 1,200 crowns, and their army have 600 mounted with spear and bow. Fluffy says, "This is what my notes look like to me after pulling them out after 10 years. Cryptic stuff I don't remember ever writing." Yeah, it would be awesome. And who knows what they're going to do with this? If this is it, it'd be great if that we could get some more commentary type stuff of like, oh, I remember what this is, or no, I don't, or something else. Because man, it's so suggestive, but it is also super cryptic with just because that's what when you're prepping your own game, that's kind of all you need, right? Because you read something like, oh yeah, the lands of the alligator men, and in your brain that triggers something for you. Oh yeah, we rolled this thing and right, that's it. The alligator man, like I got it. That's me. But then of course, like Fluffy says, you leave it for some period of time and you come back and that connection has been severed. And all you have is the reference and it no longer leads to some drawer in the catalog of your brain with all the things you thought about. So now you just got like, wait, what? A rock pile? Is that just a rock pile or was something meaningful there? But we got the colony of Athens. Michael Fraker asks, any idea what EC points means? Nope, no idea. I'm thinking, and I think to me, I'm taking it as being suggestive, or it has what I'm assuming is currency underneath it. That we're talking about economic points, but I have no idea if that's correct, incorrect. I'm taking EC for eco, but I don't. I have no idea. We got the so our first named location, the Great Colony of Athens. We still don't have like in the main map. We had more of the regions. I guess we're named, and we don't have them named here, which is a little bit surprising. But I guess you don't need it because ultimately you would have all this stuff printed out and kind of in some kind of order that, maybe in a stack. I think he said maybe he talked about them covering a ping pong table. It could have been he had them all laid out to form a giant map. Here's probably the last of my spindrift for the working man. Encounter critical points. That would be pretty amazing. There's a fly spell there, and maybe is that a volcano? Like a sea volcano down there? Can't tell. Empty. Here's an almost says empty calorie points. Could be. More breathe without air. Okay, so we got another spell. Man, those spells are in some tough spots. I mean, this is a game of Battleship. I'm trying to find the spell on this particular board. I'm guessing at a lot of spots before I hit that corner, that corner up there. I hope there's something that can might hint you there. And I'm still curious because a lot of these spells have been, from what I can tell, just sitting on water. I don't know if that means. I don't know what that means. I'd love to know. Are they buried? Are these shipwrecks or something where you're gonna have to dive down and find these spells? No idea. We only have one location here of note, which is the Starstone Sky Cave of the Wind, which is a brilliant, awesome name. Starstone Sky Cave of the Wind. Gotta love that one. I'd love to read more about that. Unfortunately, we don't have it. Someone's name here. I don't know if they own the spot or that's just the name. Dean J. Population 75,000 at 17-17, which is 17. Oh, down there is the one spot. And there's a castle, population 190 with 25 knights. And then there's another castle, population 196 with 30 knights, 50 population on the rest of the island. Total population 75,000. Where are those other 75? Oh, I see. There's the population. So, okay. Army two times. So two I don't know, legions, armies, battalions, 600 with leather, shield, sword, dagger, axe, and whatever. Oh, brass? I don't know what that means. Exceedingly cryptic points. I have to say I like Fluffy's existential crisis points. I feel like if I was handed this sheaf and I needed to an adventure in it in 10 minutes, I definitely would be having an existential crisis. Exploding critter points. Shades of Night. That's gotta be another spell, right? Or is that a thing? No, maybe that's a thing. I feel like spells have stars, so I wonder what the Shades of Night. That's maybe a magic item. Maybe it's a magic item. Army with pike and sword. Oh, we finally see some merchants, and here we have we had not seen for a little while the government type. So we're back to another. I'm thinking constitutional monarchy. There's a polymorph self, but into a bird shape. Where's that one? Out at sea again. I'd like to. Nope, this one's on land. Oh, we finally see one that's on dry land. Here's what Homer says. There's a wild amount of water on these maps. Yeah, it could just be from the order they're in. I don't know if I can. Hold on a minute. Let me see, because it might actually help. Hold on. Let me let me see here. Let me just close some things. I don't think if I can open it twice. Can I open it twice? Uh, open with. Let's see if I can do that. And then, oh, how the heck does this work? All right, let's see if actually I should probably reverse. Let me reverse this. Let's see if this will work. Why is it taking so long to open? All right, I'll see if I can get the main map up on there. Okay, here we go. So there's a clean. We have kind of the clean. See, this is the thing. Unfortunately, there's a clean map that has no grid. Then the map with the grid has. So we're on 21, which looks like we're up in this corner. We're over in this area here. So yeah, we're in the North Sea, bunches of islands. So actually, if you look at it overall, it's not a crazy amount of water. We just happen to be in a water rich area. I wish that they had kind of overlaid the grid or had a version of this with the kind of just a light grid overlay so we could see it because this is easy to read. Good luck with this one. But it does look like this does look like it was a hex map though. Oh, it's not letting me zoom in anymore. Or is it? Oh, but that is a hex map. Just tiny hexes. We'll have to go back and forth. But that's where we are. A river of oblivion. Whosoever drinks from it will forget all he knows. So kind of like Leaf toward the upside down land. That's 1217. What is that? 1217. 12. I guess here, the upside down land. That's pretty cool. What else here? We got 22 polymorph other this time of Friday. It's kind of cool that these spells are specific to the creature. You don't just get a polymorph. And I don't know. I think it's a spell. I think it's a spell. There was a key somewhere. I don't know where. I think there was a key. Uh, let's see. So Star says magician, but might be a spell, or maybe it's a magician who has the spell. Hey, Terrence. Magic item, right? Is that triangle? Yeah, that was a volcano. Yeah, see, we're up 22. We're over here, I think. I think. And I wonder if people were claiming these lands. Whoops. Stop. Don't know. Boy, look at there's just empty water here. The door to the red people. Oh, interesting. That's a magic item. I love these names. They're really great. The Ring of Light. Okay, here we got some stuff. Stunwall, Yelta Mihute, under Meritina, more of those EC points, 5,400 crowns. Ixer, definitely seeing more names of stuff. There's a monarchy. I can't. It's hard to tell what the names, what means what. Who's in command? Don't know. Here, at least they've decided to, which makes sense, to write the name of the. So we get a reference to the North Sea of Runes. So we're somewhere up here. Perkins says this brings back so many old memories. I must have spent 1,000 hours, 1,000+ hours building world and mega dungeon. Very little actually gameplay through Fantastic Realms. I think there was a lot of us. I know something like that spent a lot more time trying to create worlds and playing than we got to play in them. But world building is a lot of fun, right? And I think as a kid, I think it's you don't have the same kind of. I feel like there's not the same hangups and things you do as an adult, where as a kid, you don't care about wasting or how you invest your time. Right? You don't think of it as wasting your time if you build this whole world and no one gets to use it but you. It's okay, right? I think as an adult, a lot of our adult kind of hangups and things sort of get into. I don't want to say get in the way, but they just affect how we view all of our different things, and we just don't tend to have the time and energy to do that. Yeah, I mean, I would spend summers. So for me, when I was a little bit older, I was living overseas. So I would come home for the summer and I'd get myself down to the gaming store and I would buy books. I remember buying the Marvel TSR Marvel superheroes books. And I would spend I mean, I'd be, home in the States for 2 months and I can't even imagine. I can't even count how many just hours and hours I would spend just making characters. I don't mean it in the sense that people seem to now, where it's like, oh, and now I have my stack of characters, and I'm gonna go and play, and I'm gonna use through. No, I would just make them just to see, like, what could I do? Maybe I would hypothesize a character I made yesterday, how they would fare against the character I made today, or I would look at the characters in the books and like that was it. I would just make them. I'd make them and then not do anything with them. They probably went in the trash. Uh, but I could just do that like all the stuff over and over and over again. Now I just don't have the I'm not the same, person. I don't have the patience. I don't feel like I have the time to want to do that. But as a kid, heck yeah, could do that all day long. Perkins says they had a Northern Kingdom of Giants that just wanted to be left alone. I can see that. All right, here we get in some more land masses now. Sayratania in 6-9. We've got Kalimat. Got a castle. I don't know what Wilts means, but they got some knights. What is Wilts? Anyone know what Wilts might be? Because it's mentioned twice. Castle Wilts. Castle Wilts. Not the same. Oh, maybe it is the same castle. 610, 610. Maybe they changed. Or they have different peoples here. Navsuda and the Tok'ra. And they have these different ones. It's interesting. Some of them are named, some of them are not named. So this one, I don't know if it's named Ban or it's two different ones, Burr and Ban. Then here, there's not anything, but they've got an army. Here they don't mention. So this is a federation. Oh, they got chariots and bows. Nice. Some of these areas they don't mention governments, but then they do for this federation here and this monarchy here. And there is a spell of polymorph other into a wolf. Oh, we got is this like a little added stuff? High llama people. Oh, now we're talking. You want to deal with the high llama people. You don't want to mess the low llama people or those moderate llamas, the high llamas. That's where it's at. That is where it's at. They're also a federation. The high llamas, they were ahead of their time. Oh, these guys got lances and is that H for heavy plate or just lance H plate? I'm not sure. And then there's EC 111. Yeah, I'm gonna say that's 111. They seem fairly well to do with 9,000 crowns. I don't know. I feel like that's pretty good. These guys only have 2,200 crowns. They have 13,000 crowns. So they're living easy over there in 20-11. Definitely into more the kind of we're getting into the more major land masses, or at least bigger land masses. It's definitely interesting. You can see with it, like we would often do names. So we had the Athens Sea over here, and there was Athens. Kind of came across. I'm not sure exactly where we are now, but we have Thrace and Sparta and Persia, Beechonia. I'm sure some of these are probably named by different people. Far Harad, so the Lord of the Rings. Sneaking in our Rune is also Lord of the Rings. So is Rhiannon. We get a whole mix of kind of stuff from different sources. Unchained, or is it unclaimed? Oh, you too could own your own island. Send me a check for 1995 with a self-addressed stamped envelope. More armies. The Gamland of music. I'm sorry. Music is heard everywhere. The people are invisible. There is abundance of everything. Well, where is this? Is it called Gam? Whoops. Sorry. 502. So stop doing that. 5. Oh, right there. Like the hidden city of Gondolin, only you get there and everybody is invisible, but the music is everywhere. Abundance of everything. The invisible people, ba-dum-bum. I mean, it's definitely an interesting puzzle because what do you do when you see all this abundance, you're hearing music everywhere, and yet you see no one? I feel like that's a setup for what was that Ghibli movie? Um, oh, the one with the girl and her parents get turned to pigs. Basically, the same setup where she ends up in this kind of spirited away. There, just right there. It's kind of a similar setup. If you recall, if you haven't, I watched it fairly recently. I really love that movie. And they come to this kind of, it looks like an abandoned Japanese amusement park, and they come in, they go through the gates, and they're wandering around, and then it starts to get dark, and the buildings start to light up, and then food is being cooked at these stalls, and it's only the little girl who's thinking like, "Hey, we should probably leave." The parents kind of get are hungry and they get too enthralled, so they start eating, and of course that seems to just trigger something where they just keep eating and eating, eating, and then for their greed or whatnot, or just their intrusion, they're turned into pigs, and blah blah. But it that same thing in terms of the place feels alive and there's all stuff going on, but you don't see anybody. It's only I forget at what point, maybe it's I think after it goes dark where she's all of a sudden the spirits become more visible. Um, Really cool movie, but this obviously has that same vibe to me in retrospect. Obviously, I think when this was written, Spirited Away didn't exist yet, but kind of neat things. We have the Shatterer of Thresholds. That's a magic item. Another great name, the Shatterer of Thresholds. Oh man, like what does it do? I'm not sure, but man, that would give you some great ideas. Like what thresholds? Are we just talking doors? Are we talking things that? Oh man, it just give it to me. And then a random temple of Cluck. Is that what that is? Is it a chicken god? Yes, you can inject that Shatter of Thresholds straight into my veins. Thank you. Ian says it's used by vampires to get into houses uninvited. I would be pretty nasty. Oh no! Oh no! No, what happened at 16:6? Will we ever know? Will we never know? Where is 16:6? 16:6 would be right here at the edge of the swamp. Is that right? Says Army of Pike and Sword, EC 101 crowns, 4,600 castle, 15 knight, 122 total, all dead. Well, I don't know what happened, but man, that's poor little out for. I mean, even their this is the sad thing is you don't even know who to pour some out for because their name has been lost to time. All you know is that all dead, and it didn't happen right away because there was a number in here, and then it got scratched out. So there's a story. Something happened. Something happened there, and then maybe the Spartans with Larry S. Maybe they did that armed with their bronze swords and shields, like another constitutional monarchy. That's at 1511. Not that close though. 6. Yeah, because 616. Oh, 6 6. No, yeah, oh yeah, 616's over here. I was misreading that. And then old Larry, if that's him, 1511 is all the ways over here. So I suppose you can make it. I don't know how big these squares are. I don't know. But man, there's a story there that I would love to hear. There's a disguise spell hidden, disguised, if you will, in the middle of some kind of deserty region. Terrence says Tomb of the Unknown Adventuring Party. Bigger than a party, Terrence. There was a whole thing here. There was 150,000 souls plus gone. Evan says the old settings have this original and cheesy quality that makes them endearing. They do because there's no artifice, and that's another thing that as a kid is much more apparent than as an adult, where you want to, you see things now. Oh, it's got to look pretty. I got to make it look beautiful. I got to like it's a kid. You don't care about those things. I mean, and that's the thing you try to instill, like me with my daughter, right? Don't worry about how good, like just do it. Don't compare it to. Don't like just get out there, right? You just get in this zone where you're just doing stuff, and yeah, you're just using crayons to quickly hash out terrain. Not worried about some kind of like, well, what does this look like in the world? Are my rivers splitting and they shouldn't be? Like, it doesn't matter. None of that stuff matters. But we are like we get infected as adults with all these hangups. I think when we see this stuff that was written by, created by people, presumably younger people, at definitely more innocent times, that just don't have any of those things, it is very refreshing to us. I think it always makes, at least makes me wish, like, man, can I get back there? Like, how can I get back there where I just got some crayons, I got some graph paper, maybe I got some tables, and I'm just gonna put some stuff down, and I am not going to, and I think this is where the internet hurts. I mean, the internet can be very good for giving people, you can find a support group, but you can also just get hammered down when you're looking for just someone to say like "at a boy" or "at a girl" or "at a person." Good job. And people just come and decide to just, like you're the nail that's popping up, and they're all the hammers. And at this day and age, this time, you didn't have any of that. You just whatever friends you had around, maybe you could show it to, and that's about it. So you don't have to worry. You're not competing in your mind with somebody who lives 1,000 miles away from you that has better crayons or markers or has access to X paper when you only have access to graph paper or whatever. Yep, Evan says just taking names wholesale. Absolutely. Throw them all together in a blender. Fluffy says a support group where you can get hammered, the bar. Not a support group that hammers you or where you get hammered, but that there are both intermixed at the same time. And usually, unfortunately, more people who just consider themselves hammers than those who consider want to be supportive, unfortunately. Wow, nothing at all here. Sorry, womp womp. Where's 32? Where are we now? 32. Oh, we're just offshore. I guess this 32 is just this little tip, maybe here, but nothing. Yes, here's what Homer says. Right, there was no one out there telling them they're doing it wrong. Right. That's one of the big negative things, right? That you people got to come out of the woodwork and say, "No, you're doing it wrong," or "This is the way it was." It's like it doesn't matter. Everyone can do it their own way. What matters is you're doing it. I am still very curious about all these spells that are sitting in the middle of the ocean. These are the Morakanth people. They get a name. They're a federation. Let's see. Here we're getting. Well, there's just a spell called Wearlight. Ooh, what is that? I wonder. And an item called Thunderclap. Okay, what are we doing? It now we're on 35. So now we've gone over. Where's 35? We Can we crossed over? Nope, you have. We're now on the other side of the world. Michael Frager says there's a Wind Waker feel to it. All these points of interest in the middle of the water. I mean, they're not even just points of interest. They are literally spell locations or magician locations. It's just interesting and curious that that's so many of them. This one's not. This one's actually on land, but it is so curious. So many of them seem to be in the middle of the water. I just don't know what that means. Is there a magician on a boat hanging out there? Is there some tiny atoll? Is it a spell that's in the water? I don't know. We have no way of knowing. They don't say. Hey, Clips says that they're going through it right now, and this is so interesting, really massive in scale. I wonder how long it took. Yeah, I'm not sure. Terrence says sunken treasure. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. We don't know. I don't know how we haven't said about what the time frame for this is. Oh yeah, this would have taken me a while. All right, this is Ben. I'm gonna say some of these that seem like regular names, or maybe the names of players who had these domains. The monarchy. We've got another federation down here. Lots of federations, and we haven't run into a communist in a while. There's a blind spell. What does it say? Katie in a hidden valley where shepherds live in peace and make music. Oh, I like that. 312. I kind of like too. There's little peaceful. Well, there was a key. What did that? What did that key mean? What is a blue magical place? Oh, that's really cool. these are really nice. Like, it reminds me of kind of Rivendell or these little, you might Lothlorien, just kind of like little magical spots. They seem to be all positive right now, and that's kind of nice. And it definitely gives it almost a fairy tale kind of vibe. You can find these places where, yeah, where you're singing, you're hearing music and there's song and everything seems it's like not everything is just nasty and grim. Like, oh, you have these lighthearted places that are hidden away. I mean, you really got to go up. You're gonna find that spot. You're gonna have to find it. It is not. It is not going to be easy to find in the mountains. It's like what was that? Oh, one of those mythological places that came and went with the mists or something. But like a Xanadu. Not, I mean, maybe Xanadu was a similar kind of thing. It was not. I'm not thinking of Xanadu. Anyway, you're gonna have to trek up in the mountains to get there. But if you can find it, you can hang out there. I suppose it could be a good place to get to at the end of your career. There are the communists. They're back. This has got a nice road network. This is 37, so we're now over here. Must be looking at this tip. Maybe this tip area. I feel like 37, this big grid 37 doesn't really look like what we're diverging a bit. That doesn't look the same. Doc Club says it reminds me of the original Wilderness of High Fantasy, where there's just the barest sketches of stuff, but it was enough to evoke imagination. Yeah, I mean, this is at least it was started pre Wilderness of High Fantasy. But look, you're coming to play D&D, right? This is what if you're coming in 1974 play D&D, this is what you're doing. You're either taking one of the, you're either like, and he had access clearly to both Gygax and Artisans. So you take stuff from them, then he was told make your own world. So that's what you got to do because you don't have any sources. There's nothing out there for you. You can't buy a setting book. I mean, you could look through the books you've read and find the stuff you like and throw it in there. But I mean, there's nothing pre-built for you, so you're gonna have to make your own Wilderlands of high fantasy or whatever kind of setting you want because you got no choice. Jacobs also wonders if there was a larger amount of detail of certain villages or dungeons in another notebook. I don't know. I don't know what if I don't know if this is just all of it or if there's more to it. No idea. This is the Empire of Raikou. That's cool. I guess maybe there's a place, city, maybe named Kufer. Kofer. Oh, he went through some changes because he started out. He got rich. He's got 165,800 crowns, over 2 million population. I don't know if that's a player's empire or not, but that's the most that is the that's I think that's the wealthiest nation state or kingdom or whatever. I guess nation state makes more sense I've seen so far. We have Karis, which is the capital of Raikou. We have Bedar, Japar, Atara. Got some spells out there. Deafness and freeze feet. You do have a Federation of Helios and then also Daros. Or are those the same? Might be the same Federation. We're in the Krell Sea area. Now we're over on 40, which is where? So we've come all the way over here. The lands of what is that? Can I zoom in? No, I can't zoom in. Is that Hero Land? Lands of no. Hold on a minute. Let's see. Next, Lands of Hannon. So we're kind of in this area here on the noise on the nice map. We're kind of around here. Hey Tom. It says not too much later there was Arduin from Dave Hargrave, the Gonzo Rules variants and setting. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean a lot of stuff came right once you get in the mid to kind of later 70s. The sort of the what would you say the floodgates kind of opened up with stuff. I mean, primarily Judges Guild and Arduin because I mean D&D. I don't think that they kind of started their own setting stuff. I mean, I guess there was Greyhawk had some stuff in it, but I don't think you got maps or anything. I mean, even because I don't think the Blackmoor book doesn't have any kind of maps. Well, you see, you get a map of Castle Blackmoor. I think that's what this is. Let me see what you get. So if you got the Blackmore book, and I'm talking this book, you did get some maps, but they look very local. Doesn't look like anything. You got maps of Temple the Frog, got some very local stuff, but that doesn't look like they give you anything to situate into in terms of a world or even a big region. It doesn't look like. Just trying to remember because I might forget. Yeah, it feels like you're just getting very local stuff. And I think the Greyhawk book is the same. There's no maps of anything. I think even Arduin Grimoire, because there's volume one right here. I don't think is there any maps of any? Did we get any maps? A lot of tables and things. We get a map of a dungeon area. But I think we're still going with people using outdoor survival, or in this case, making your own. So I mean, it'd be I don't know the history of it. I guess it'd be good to check when the first kind of cartography type products for big maps for things came up, but I would probably guess it's probably Judges Guild, right? In terms of here is a not just tables and kind of background, but here's an actual setting with a map where you could situate yourself. Probably Judges Guild might have been number one. There may be someone else. I don't know. Hey, Daniel. Daniel says all the advice we give us starting with Hugh Hexes. This is the way. I think I'd rather start with three hexes. Three hexes is a little too slim for me. I feel like I need a little bit more, but yeah, I don't know if I need all. I don't know if I need all this. Port Daru, we have Kaisis, Memphis, Caro, the ring of answering to the caller. Oh, these I'm gonna have to write down these names. Do something with that. Because these names, these magic items are just cool. Cool as all get out. Let's see. We've got what do we have here? We have our first. I don't think I've seen a dictatorship before. All kinds of monarchies and communists and federations. I'd love to see the table, or I'd love to see the setup because there's things that you don't see at all, and then there are things we seem to see. So federation, but we haven't. I don't think I haven't seen democracy show up or republic. Seen federation though. Seen continental monarchy, dictatorship, a bunch of communists. So I wonder what table are they using or what chart? Where are they getting these? Because it's just a weird mix. Oh yeah, we've seen regular monarchies. We've seen constitutional monarchies and regular monarchies. There's another dictatorship. I love all these listings of the knights. No magic stuff here though. We still don't know what EC is. I'm still going economics. That there's some kind of economic scale. Maybe it's your income kind of thing. I don't know, but we haven't actually seen what it is. Like, let's see. Here's a homebrew says it's kind of a genius way of mapping in a notebook. The way it's gridded with notes off to the side. Yeah, no, as a system, it works great as a system. And I think, look, and just in terms of even now, if I was going to go, I don't know if you can find. I think I've seen where you could find hex gridded notebooks because chemistry they use them. So you can find these. There's a little, I guess, life hack for you. I haven't bought them myself, but I've seen them. Is look for chemistry notebooks if you want hex because they'll have hex paper because all the you're writing down all the atomic whatever the formulas for different chemical things, they use hexes. So you can find these hex grids. I don't know if they fill the whole page or what they do, but I've kind of seen them. But just in terms of being able to go to anywhere and pick up a notebook that's has graph paper, it's very easy. They're all over the place, or dot grid if you want to go dot grid style, and then you could easily take them and just give yourself an area, then just start filling it in. Like, and as much as I love hexes, you could do the same thing with squares. I don't think you lose all that much, right? It's not to me like I would never consider doing this. And I think there's something to be said for taking away the big things like, well, I don't have hex graph paper. I don't want to make hexes. Worse. I would much rather if I had if I realized that for my own workflow and just for my own being able to do things within the time frames, whatever, with the available I had was to use graph paper. I would just use graph paper, even as much as I love hexes. And it keep uh, what game do you have on your shelf there, Daniel? Oh, search for the source of the Nile. Oh, nice. Yep. Yeah, he used procedures. That's what he said. That's what he said. Apparently, some kind of it's got some sort of uh procedures, but for creating stuff. But I haven't actually seen it, so I don't know. Take a picture of it and send it to me, Daniel. If you're at home, I'm curious as to what it looks like. All right, how are we doing here? There's a darkness spell. Marvat, a wall. So this is remember these purple circles here for magical places. Marvat, a walled island, 1,000 feet high. Inside is a garden where fruits grow all the time and all the people are happy. But if the wall is broken or made easy to get into, the garden will fall to dust and the people become demons. Wow. So as long as you keep it walled up, it's this paradise. But if you were to try to make it, it's not that you can't get there if you want to, but if you try to if you try to break down the barriers between it and the outside world, it goes bad. It goes bad in a big way. I really like these magical places. I'm gonna have to add that. I'm gonna have to factor that into my stocking of stuff. A ventriloquism spell again out in the middle of the ocean. I really would love to. I don't know if that's the first question I would ask, but I think my top questions I'd like to know if I could ever get, and maybe I'll reach out to that person. I don't know how old they are, what their situation is. I think I assume they're still around. They don't make it seem like it's somebody who's gone. But I'd love to know what is EC, and if there was a system there, what that was system like. I also would love to know about this where the magical place stalking came from. That was just their own idea, or if they got that from somewhere. And then I think I what these spells in the middle of the ocean. What is it? What is it? What does it mean? Here we get to Lankmar, City of Thieves. Maybe. Oh, they've got some elephants. We're on the Garuda Sea. The communists are back. Fort Flambeau. At Flambeau Field, where the Breen Bay backers. Fort Herrig, not to be confused with Fort Herring. Fort Bag Swanson. And Fort Windsor Swanson. Ah, the Swanson brother forts. Got a constitutional monarchy down there. Isle of Swanson. Got some more elephants. One colony of Mui Rand. Mui Land. We're on the Sea of Herring now. Another monarchy. Tiny gold horse, which is a magic item. And the spell mirror image. What does that say? Basmoli? Basmoli berserkers with bows in a dictatorship. Old man, cave mouth protected by lightning. Jar of orange liquid. Or maybe that's at 6. I don't know what that is. Man, so suggestive. An old man, a cave mouth protected by lightning, and a jar of orange liquid. You can do a lot with that. Oh, here's another magic spot. La Hall, the home of dead heroes, protected by a giant lupus and Accipiter, is a giant building that has 100 doors, each big enough for 300 men. Inside, goats give meat and roast roast boar walks the building. Roast what? Roast boar walks. The building is surrounded by trees with leaves of gold. That's pretty cool. Terrence says they feel like they need to know the context of this guy's worldview to tell if he's using communist and boomer shorthand for bad guys. I don't know. I mean, I don't feel like that. I mean, we haven't seen anything to suggest, other than the magic places, that there's really any particular good versus bad, right? It is all just stated. These are constitutional monarchists, these are dictatorships, these are communists. It's just interesting. I would just love to see this. That would be another thing I'd love to know is what's the master list of government types? Because there seem to be some that just aren't coming up. And I don't know why, including democracy and republic, have not seen those yet. But maybe those are lumped under federation. Um, I don't know. But it is an interesting that mix that we've seen is pretty interesting. And here we get more communists and then like another constitutional monarchy. Terrence, I am curious too. But I'm just saying that we haven't been given any indication of kind of alignments of these things. So I feel like if we set alignments to them, we're kind of bringing in our own stuff, not necessarily stuff that they're giving us, because we just have no indications. We haven't even seen anything as simple as law versus chaos. This is just people, cultures. Baboon troop. Whoa, they got some baboon troops. We hadn't seen any animal people in a while. Here we have some fanatics. Sundome Templars. Oh. Michael Frager says we could be seeing the political leanings of Bill Hoyt. Yeah, absolutely. We just don't know because they haven't told us. Young Bill Hoyt, or however old Bill Hoyt was when he did this, did not see fit to say who's good and who's bad. I mean, look, if we want to play the numbers, odds are writing in the early 70s, Vietnam War is winding down, but it's depending on what year some of stuff written is still on or just new after. I mean, let's face it, Cold War is still ongoing. Let's face it, probably the communists don't mean good guys, right? But we don't know because nobody actually says anywhere in here bad guys, law, chaos, kill, kill. Don't know. And they seem to be kind of just randomly thrown together. I mean, there's meaning behind who's what's and where they are on the maps, but it doesn't look like it. So just can't say. But yeah, if I had to make a bet, where would Vegas be laying the odds? Sure. An American early to mid 70s. Oh my gosh, there's a truck. Oh, they're doing wood chipping right across the street. So I'm going to close my window. Hopefully it's not distracting to you guys. It is distracting to me, but there's nothing I can do. Sticks to snakes, another constitutional monarchy. I mean, is he British? All these constitutional monarchies. Oh, we get the water of death, the never-ending line. Super Street. Other? Is that Street? Is that super? I don't know what that says. Street. Does he mean strength? Stealth? Stretch? I don't know. I love these items. I love me these items. Super telekinesis. Another constitutional monarchy. And if you look here, man, I am not even halfway through the dock. Not even halfway through. Heat metal in the middle of the ocean. Ah, here's a republic. Is this the first republic we've seen? I feel like it might be. But maybe I missed and there was another couple. It certainly haven't been a lot of them. Read languages. Has overkill dungeon to protect him. Ooh. Overkill dungeon. Evan says, it's funny to imagine such a sophisticated political system as a constitutional monarchy in a D&D game. Yeah, Evan, I mean, I'm surprised to see half these things in here. I would just think monarchies, dictatorships, maybe. But we got republics, federations. It's an interesting system. And I don't know if it's just stuff that he came up with, like in school, you're learning about the stuff in school, so you're putting in your game, or whether there's some kind of chart somewhere. I don't know. There, the communists are back. Now they're going head to head with the Republic, or if they are, I don't know. They got a silver bell. Silver bell. Silver bell. Ooh, there's an earth shaker. More communists. I mean, it's definitely saying something about the world, which maybe wouldn't be out of line for the 1970s, but I wonder if we did a And I'm not going to do this, but if someone wants to do this, to color code the map with the different nation state types, I'd be curious to see if this is like a fantasy version of the red wave coming, because there are a lot. It feels like a lot of communists. Bandit Skeep says, "You wonder if the spells are places you must go to find the spell." Nope, that's it, Bandit. You got it, Daniel. They say it at the beginning. You go to the place, you can find the spell. That you nailed it on your first guess exactly. The fascinating thing about that is that a lot of the spells are in the middle of the ocean, and that's where I'm wondering what you're supposed to do there. So you get this one here, all these stars. Okay, this is on land. Or you can conceivably get there, but there were a lot, especially earlier on, that were middle of the water. I mean, literally, it looked like there was nothing in the water, and even zooming in, there was no little bit of land that they had drawn in there, just star and blue in ocean. So I don't know. What does that say? Summon demon. Ooh, that's a good one. If you can get it. We got another dictatorship, public, teleport spell. Daniel says, I like that. Get a boat. Yep. I'm just curious if they're like, I really want to know what did one of those look like? Is there a buoy somewhere? You know, like a that's down that goes down to a guiding line that takes you down to the ocean floor where there's a chest with it in there. Is there a sunken ruin there? Is it a guy in a boat? Because the in the key, you'll notice the key here, which I'll just go to again quickly. The key is says magician. So theoretically, it could mean that there's actually a person there, not just the spell. And maybe that's the person there who has the spell. We don't know. But there was a specific point made at the beginning that that spells you went to the spots. So maybe magician means spell in this case. And maybe these are people who found the spell. So oh, I see. There's the written in the spell: super speed, invulnerability, something, something. So yeah, I don't know. Unknown as to what the situation was. Michael Fergus says the first spell all magicians learn before read magic is protection from seasickness. Look at the horizon. Keep your eyes on the horizon. Yes. That or hold your breath or water breathing, I suppose, would come in handy. Daniel says could be a merman magician. That's true. Could be a magician, a mergician, a merv griffin, perhaps. Another famous rock pile, and the lighthouse of Ambrosia. I like that. Oh, King Kihike, Sai-Hike. This is a kingdom of Zorev, a constitutional monarchy again. The Caledon Forsto. Well, let's see. Here we got some Ruskies over here at this castle. And Eileen over here, Shanduras. But they don't say what the government is, so we don't know. Fireball. See, there we go. Fireball is our seal. Ooh, seal telepath. That's an intriguing one. Just offshore. Then Fireball's probably in fairly deep water. I don't know what this green line is. We're on 64, which would put us here. I don't know what that line's supposed to be. I see something Empire down there. So if I come down here, Southern Empire. This makes it sound like it's sea with islands. So we're talking about we're down here? I can't tell. I'm not sure, but it seems like we're somewhere down here. And another rock pile. Make sure you note your rock piles. That's if you're gonna take one lesson, one takeaway. It's be sure to note the locations of all rock piles. Another republic and a federation. So we got that going for us. Another republic. Ooh, the power staff of Aiba. I like the sound of power staffs. Here's another magic spot. Schloraf land, surrounded by a wall of cake, river of lemonade, walking ham and fish, hail of biscuits, rain of soup or milk. Oh, yes. Of the grimaces, rock piles might be burial mounds. Oh, yeah, it could be. Could be. The next one we look at, we'll see if it's out in the middle because I thought some of them rock piles are kind of out in the middle of nowhere, like again on water. Where was the last rock pile? Let's just there you go. 317. 3 317. So right here. So yeah, it could be. No note is made, so we don't know. Cloudy with a chance of meatballs. Yeah, that's definitely it. It's cool because it's just there, right? And you don't need to make sense of it. You don't. It's not to be made sense of. Definitely interesting spots to find. I don't know if I'm coming out all the way here to find it, but there is also that power staff. So maybe you're just have to. But imagine you're sailing and you get this plane. It looks like and you see this wall of cake. Terrence wants a gravy elemental. May your wish be granted. Summon genie a green starstone. I'm gonna look for the next. That's a monarchy. I'm gonna look for the next rock pile to see if they're all on land spots. Then a continental monarchy, land spots. I meant another continental monarchy, another monarchy, a brown starstone, and a force wall spell. Oh wait a minute, what does this say? The jaws two headland that clash. Well, it says chash, but I mean crash together. The jaws two headlands that crash together. So maybe there's two little islands that come banging together. I don't know if that makes sense. The 23-4. There's 23. Oh, would be. Oh, it must be here. There it is. So basically, you're trying to. That's a nasty trap. So you come down here to this. I don't know if this is the main continent or an island, and you see this. You can see there's like a little. I don't even know what you would call a little entrance into this bay, and you go in there, and then suddenly they just smash together and just destroy your ship. Pretty sneaky. Thanos' wall of cake is an amazing spell to research. It definitely would, as Fluffy says, it would definitely confuse a lot of people. Did it happen in Jason the Argonauts, Tom? I don't recall. Did the coastline try to crush his ship? Because that's presumably where they got it from, or one of the movies about Jason the Argonauts. Terrence, I don't know if you need to unbutton your trousers to eat, but I get what you're saying, but I'd do that maybe after I'm done. I don't know if I need to disrobe to start eating. Oh, okay, it did. Well, that's probably where he got it from. There you go. Was it in the original story or is it in one of the movies? Because I have some of the movies on disc. I just haven't watched them in a while, so I might need to throw that on and check it out. More communists. The How are you? Okay, I've got that one. I got that one. I'll have to check it out again. It's been a while. Canterbury. No, 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 Archbishop. We also have Phoenicia makes its appearance. And there's a Wizard Eye spell and Control Plant spell. No rock piles to be seen. Britannia with Critanberry. Now here we have a magic place. The Castle of Cedi, a turning castle with glass-like walls and archers. If you can, I guess, get in, the king will grant one wish. If you come back, you will be killed. Ouch. So here's an interesting thing. It says it's a turning castle, so maybe the castle spins, rotates. The walls are like glass. Maybe that means you can see in, or they're just super smooth. Not sure. There's archers, and presumably they're going to shoot you. If you can get in, get an audience with the king, you get a wish. But if you ever come back, you get one wish. Come back, you're killed. I wonder if they tell you that. There's another republic, another constitutional monarchy. Oh, there the communists are back. Two dictatorships. The Black Horse Troop, another monarchy. Another dictatorship. What's it say? 200 population colony of Rhiannon. I like these It seems like people are going out and sending their forces out there to grab new lands. I mean, it seems like looking at this map that everything's basically claimed, but I claimed, right, but not necessarily populated. So presumably you could send out some people in hopes to kind of steal some of this. Which what we're on 73, which is where we're down here. So we're down on that coast around here. Rhiannon is over here. So okay, well maybe they're sailing over and trying to slip a little people in there against the Carthage states. Unknown. Unknown. Republic, a monarchy, more communists. Communists of Communia. That's another thing too. It's interesting which places get names and which stuff don't. Obviously, on the map, they've named everything, but in here, you see all these specific things that don't necessarily have names. But I suppose originally you were cross-referencing these things a little bit better so that you would know, I guess, or maybe they're kind of minor elements of the larger nation state. Yes, Evan pointing out that a lot of settings like leaving vast swaths of empty land, but realistically, almost all land would be claimed by someone, even if only a name. Yeah, and that's even true to some degree now. For example, Morocco and Algeria have these really fuzzy borders because they're in the desert, and they both kind of like to claim bits. Nobody's out there down there. I mean, they're just there's peoples that move across, but not really anything there. But yeah, it's claimed. You look on a map, you're not going to find some empty space there. They'll each place has decided what's theirs, but at the same time, nobody's actually there. And in this case, in kind of a fantasy medieval type context, yeah, you're gonna I can my kingdom is as far as my eyes can see to the distant mountains, but I can't afford to put people there, but I can still claim it. But that doesn't mean they know. But then what happens is, and that actually happened in Morocco, because if you look at older maps of North Africa, there's what's it called? Western Sahara, which was I don't know, it was just kinda it was I don't even know what it was. I don't really know what its actual status was, but it was kind of this separate piece for a long time. And Morocco, they were gonna have a referendum on kind of what was gonna happen with Western Sahara, and Morocco bust in a bunch of people to be there when the referendum took place, so they could vote to be make us part of Morocco. And this is kind of a similar element. We're going to send our people down there so that when some kind of survey or somebody actually shows up, we can say, "Nope, our people are here. Look, they speak our language. They're here. We've got forts and castles here. It's ours, right under your nose, Mister Mountain Man." Michael Fraker says they always thought that the unclaimed wildlands that region beyond Hadrian's Wall in Britain. But Michael Fraker, I don't know this, but I imagine that people claim those too, right? There were different tribes of people who probably had said that that land belongs to them. They just weren't the Romans. They weren't prepared to build walls around it and do it. But I don't know that to those local people that they would agree that the land was unclaimed. Unclaimed by Rome, maybe unclaimed by a a culture that had the the sort of same sort of stature and organization. But I would bet that there were people there that was like, yeah, this is ours. Um, I mean, even if it was just individual like family units, like you have your house, unless you were literally nomadic and you were planting no stakes and you were doing that thing, like, oh, the land belongs to everybody. I mean, you probably were had people living in places that are like, this is our place. And that was kind of a big thing. I remember that this kind of the myth of sort of when countries started to be like countries actually was rather late. That oftentimes they just saw themselves as of a particular locality, and the idea that they were French didn't really emerge until fairly recently in terms of history. You were like, no, I'm from whatever my local piece is, and then as those pieces got moved around on chessboards way above people's pay grades and capitals and things like that, didn't really those local people. They're like, well, wherever you're sending your taxes to, I'm sending them to. Like, it doesn't really matter. But they were just part of that locality. And then, like I said, fairly late came this idea of like you're part of the nation. You are part of this united thing called France. I claim this state in the name of France. All right, got. What are we doing on time? I'm wondering. I'm just so I don't. It's not that I want to zoom through, but I'm kind of curious. So we have the Gotham City of Wise Fools, another magical place, and then Paladon, land of the Thunder Lizards, with the city of what is that? Tri Triceratop Riders. Oh, nice. We get a little bit of a Land Before Time action. Where is that? Nine? Is that 1417 or 1414? There's 14? 1414 right there. You get like a little Land Before Time. It's I have no idea what the scale is. Also, no idea. The paints of Zepho or Zepoho. The paints. What could one do with the paints of Zepoho? And here, this one again, middle of the ocean. There's an undersea, maybe it's a not quite undersea volcano over here, but there's nothing here. Parents wants to be from there for riding a dino as a starting gear. Yeah, but can you get it out of there? The pen of Vogie, absolutely out in the nothing. The blue starstone. So here they mark it underwater. Here they mark it underwater. So we know that the blue starstone is underwater. But then what about the pen of Yo Vogie? Not underwater. Are we to mean then that it's floating in some flotsam and jetsam there and over in 12, whatever this, 1219? We do not know. Oh, wait, it was this Fathom, the underwater country. Oh, that's where it is. Okay. So the Fathom, the underwater country, enchanted by the blue star stone, which is held in the temple. Let's see. If you take it, the land will rise and become an island, but the bubble will pop and they will die. Oh no. The water is so clear you can see the farms and towns below. Oh, that's really cool. So you have this kind of Atlantean area down here. I'm really curious what these star stones do because they've mentioned a couple ones. We've seen brown. This one other one. This one's blue. Like why would one want to? I really want to know like what else does this do? Because presumably that's something that theoretically you might want to do is to grab that blue starstone. Of course, then you got to pour one out for the poor people of the of Fathom. But I'm curious as to what one would do with the blue starstone. Oh, Tom says there's an underwater kingdom south of the southern coast of the Haruspian Empire and fought for the Great Monster. Well, I would not doubt it at all if that was the inspiration. So this is where it's 78, which is where the heck is 78? We're 5, 6, so 70. So we're down here. So again, I'm starting to think that this map and that map are not because that looks like 78 should mostly be on land. The 78 looks like it's mostly water. But we're definitely down in a southern coastal area. I would imagine we're somewhere down here. So yeah, it makes sense. A seal fear spell and an eater of sound item. Oh, I love these items. Island of fair women. Anyone who lands on this island will fall in love and will change into a bird will be changed into a bird by the women. Oh, clever. And then a note about Jerry Fours. I don't know what that means, but he's a 19-21 if you want to go meet Jerry. Oh, here we go. Stone Pile at 521. Where's that? Oh, there. Nope. That's the stone. Oh, that's a spell. That's 57521. Oh, it's right. Could be on the shore. It looks like it's on the shore. Don't know what it means. They haven't said that they're burial things, but it makes sense. It makes sense that stone piles would be some kind of markers. Just they haven't said it. Mine bar, bow the boy, rock pile with arrow pointing east. Oh, so maybe they're markers of some kind because that's clearly seems to be saying something. You're at 9. Let's see. The rock pile's at 9, 12 right here, and it's pointing east. So it's pointing to the volcano. I don't know if that's good or bad. Call the lands of beautiful people, where the food change color and taste like anything you want. Those who land here roll 20-sided die to find how many years they stayed. Wow. Roll a d20. That's how many years you ended up just eating food and hanging out with the beautiful people. The beautiful people. Blah, blah, blah. Of the Republic, monarchy, dictatorship, St. Palo. Hey, don't land on that island. Don't land on that island. Here's a red starstone, which we don't know what it does. We have a lighthouse of Rhiannon and a colony of Rhiannon on Mon. We're down at the Black Sea area, which is where there's the White Sea. Does that mean the Black Sea's over here? Yep, we're over. Like we're somewhere over here. The city on top is false. The real city is underground. Oh, that's sneaky. This place might have belonged to good old Dave Cheney. Hid his city underground with a fake city on top. Sneaky. Sneaky, 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 Dave. I respect it. Got a republic, a federation, sleep spell, Dragonfly Island. Let's see. When coming to this island, the closer they get, the bigger it gets until the people are the size of ants. If they land, they will find giant ants, spiders, lizards, worms the size of trains, mole men, bluish, blue men, dragonflies, moths, giant birds. In the center of the island, there is a steel wall. Inside lives a family of giants who take off a machine that makes all visitors to the island small. So basically, as you get closer to the island, you shrink. And that's really clever. If you want to play some kind of Gulliver, I forget, not Lilliput, because that's where Gulliver's big, but whatever the one is where Gulliver ends up in the lands of giants, that is really clever. And I would hope, I presume that leaving the island reverses the effect. I don't know, maybe. Michael Fergus says this book would be a great random table by itself. Just roll a random page, high chance of something cool. Yeah, unless you get, I mean, there are a couple pages of basically empty sea, but yeah, yeah, you're bound to find something. Monarchy, Republic, the magic horses of my Mo land of Milk River, popcorn, snow, cheese islands, trees of tools and clothes. He loves his islands that have food themed islands. Big hit. Island that smokes, volcano, cook. I don't know what that is. Colony of Jerry Force. Jerry's getting around here. Better watch out for Jerry Force. He's coming. Summon a feat. A horn of slants, maybe silence, and a ring of travel. Aaron says stopping any of these islands sounds dangerous. Oh yeah, you hit the wrong one. Yeah, here's some empty water, but we do have a death stone, a double spell, the Uzian River, a river the color of milk, poison. But if the water is drunk from the death stone, that person will be invisible for 10 years. That might be too much. That just might be too much. So you got to find that. So the key is you got to go and get the death stone. Then I guess the death stone, maybe it's like a bowl. So you scoop up the thing in the bowl and then drink it, and you'll be invisible for 10 years. I feel like I don't know what situation I want to be invisible for 10 years. Oh, the water of life. All right, drink about that. You can gain Bene Gesserit powers. Book it, Dano. Constitutional monarchy, a monarchy, a super magnet. I'm all for super magnets. The blue light is an item, and also the silken, I was gonna say gilkin, the silken handkerchief of Cook. I don't know what that does, but I like it. Oh, we got another special island. I love these special spots. Island of Voy, where laughter is heard everywhere. All the people are happy and tell jokes. If one lands here, he will lose track of time. Roll percentile dice. See, is that percentile? Let's see how many months they will stay. Okay, so this one, I love that a lot of these are all jolly places, but that's probably where you should get nervous. It's like, oh, they're all telling jokes. I'm going to land here and I'm going to come out an old man. At least this one's months, not years. Well, sorry to see you go, Dave, but yeah, leave it running. let, let me Let me get the metrics of your view, even though you're not paying attention. YouTube will never know the difference. We have Fort Danube, Fort Ducati. Anything else? Super interesting. A federation, dictatorship, Aldea, some Rhiannon stuff going on. Another dictatorship, a federation. Vati, land of jewels with musical brook of perfume. Oh, interesting. Bullet Catcher says a D100 of months seems like a lot. Well, I suppose, but we had a D20 of years. So would you rather 50 months or 20 years? So, you just got to pick your poison. Or I guess you don't really get to pick. It's kind of, I mean, if you're unlucky, you can end up at both. Ooh, the ever expanding share. That's a cool one. Oh, Cheney. Oh, Dave Cheney claimed, he's done some claiming, been grabbing up spots. He grabbed 13, 17. Where is that? 13 must be these islands. And 13. Yep, he grabbed what is that? The Fiji Islands now belong to Dave Cheney. Sorry, Dave. Terrence says an eight-year comedy festival. No thanks. Yeah, that's definitely a possibility. Owned by Gar. Okay, Gar's got it. Gar's got it. The Catan race to the south. What else we got here? Oh, we got some. Obviously, there was some action here. They had to amend those numbers. I don't know if that went up or down, so we don't know how they did. Golthoff, one merchant, whole army, but one merchant. That guy's got to be busy. Ooh, a fiend blade. I like that. And the dagger of disabling. Daniel says you definitely want to be running multiple characters in this world. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You probably have to be. If you're and if you're doing, that 1 day of time in between session time, then those guys who've been 8 years or 20 years on those islands aren't going to be playing for a while. So yeah, those guys might be on the shelf for a bit. An energy bolt spell, the mirror of all knowing wonder. Two special places. We got Narnia, so you get your Lion, Witch, and Wardrobe action. Land of intelligent animals and classical beings. That makes sense. And the island of Bim, which has a spring of youth. Anyone who drinks from it is 10 years younger. The water will not work when taken from the island. Okay. So you can get some of that time back if you make it to the Isle of Bim. Empty sea. A super will. Somebody was here. JF here. And there's the wishing plant. Moscow Mule for the working man. Daniel says that's how they have 30-year campaigns. They just play once every 10 to 20 years. That's right. They're like, it's like 1978. And they're like, well, we'll see you in 82 when we can get back to action because all the players' characters were on that one island. Let's see. We have a wall walking spell. And then we have the Island of the Watchers. The Watchers are a race of Eternals who have the power to make the green jade show them anywhere in the world or time. Only they can do it. Ooh. But will they do it for a price is what I want to know. Bullet Catcher says, but everyone else in the world who passed those 10 years won't recover anytime. Intangible horror. Yes, indeed. That's the real Cthulian element. All right, so here we have some rock piles. 7, 12, there's one. 7, 22, there's another one. And 9, 10, that one. I can't tell if that's supposed to be land or water. It looks like land and there's a river. There's like a little river thing, but it still doesn't say what they do. Some more communists, striking stone, and a soul transfer spell. Oh, and a man-made tree pyramid. Oh, there's a volcano. Nothing. Oh, empty. Lillehammer. Gonna hold the Olympics someday if you can just hang out. Kong's Ringer. So I guess that's a place, Romsdale. And the Wise One, which I guess is an item, not a person. Over there, looks like off the coast in Lillehammer Bay. The Catan race, cat-like humanoid having familiars, basically fighting partners. Oh, okay. They're cat-like humanoids that have familiars that act as fighting partners. That's a whole different kind of Settlers of Catan angle. There's Hex spell. There's a volcano. Mibon, the island of swan women. The island is paradise. In the center, there's a pool where the women bathe. They are beautiful, and there's a good chance the player will fall in love. But if he doesn't take her feathers in one mouth, she will become a swan and fly away. Oh, that's kind of clever. Oh, what is this? Olympic winners? So they had Olympics. We don't know what the rules are, but I guess first prize is a pearl set in gold. Second is white gold. Third is silver with bronze. So they did running and track events. There were sprints, hurdles, a 400-meter, a 1,000-meter, and a cross country race. There was swimming and it looks like boating, two-man crew, war canoes, water jousts, and a sea battle. They raced horses, did show horses, and did like obstacle. I guess was it horse jumping? They did discus, javelin, shot, hammer, and caber tossing. Long jump. Apparently, the high jump might have gotten canceled. Scott got 3 places all to himself. Oh, that's why they crossed it out. Yeah, you can't Scott, what are you doing, Scott? You can't have all 3 spots. Sorry. We gotta promote Joe Hayes to number 1. Pole vaulting, archery, and then team sports, field hockey, highlight, football, soccer, rugby, cricket, murder ball, lacrosse, and stickball. And then we got weightlifting, wrestling, basically hand-to-hand judo, jousts, chariot joust, gymnastics, war games, music, and poetry. And the final tally. Oh no, I was going to ruin it. We could have done some kind of guess. So, in terms of countries, Rhiannon came in first. The country, I guess, is Joe Hayes, tied for second with Makatia and Dana. Gordy fourth, Margie, Jerry, the Northern Empire, the Southern Empire, and Carthage. One, two, three, yeah, fourth place. Daniel fifth place, and Henry, Charlie, Jim Hayes, Garrett, and Cretan sixth place. 1 point. Well, those are the first place. I see their amount of first places, and then amount of second places. Joe Hayes and Gordy tied for first with sixth. So who was the overall winners? Rhiannon, then Hazeltonia, then Garuda Land with King Gordy. Oh, Joe Hayes. That's Hazeltonia. Joe Hayes second. Oh, it was a 1 point. Oh man, Rhiannon, the Rhiannon Confederation pulled it out. 30 points to King Joe Hayes' 29. And that is the end of the document. We get no explanation for how any of that worked. But I love it. All right, folks. So what do you guys think? I mean, this stuff is awesome. I love this. I've looked at a few of these kind of original document works, and they fill me with joy each and every time I see them. Thanks to Bill Hoyt for sharing this with Heather and somebody doing the work of scanning it. I mean, I'd love to see more. Bill, if you're around, not that you'll probably hear this or see this, but if you do, I'd love to hear more about the campaign. So much suggestive stuff, so much that's just full of, uh, uh, you could tell there's so much going on behind the scenes, but we're only getting that we're just getting the surface layer. I'd love to hear about how they had the procedures for mapping all these continents and stuff, and what kind of adventures did they get on in here? I mean, sure, anything and everything. And the Olympics element just seems like a hilariously fun thing to do. And I'd also be curious how the domain stuff worked. I mean, I've mentioned before, I played in a long term sci-fi campaign that had kind of a domain play alongside adventuring play. I'm curious, did they go through? Did they start with domains from scratch and then have characters, which is how the sci-fi game worked? We created our domain and then created characters from that domain, and those characters would go on an adventure, and then we'd have our domain. Or did they go through the kind of thing that we think of in classical play with starting off at 0, then founding a domain when those first characters reach, name level? Yeah, there's no reason not to check it out. It is free. You can find it on itch. A link is in the show notes. Great stuff. It just makes me, again, it just kind of fills me with this idea of like, can I get back to that state of mind where I could just do that and kind of not worry about stuff and just have fun with kind of pure creation. It's kind of like seeing that a portal back into remembering what it was to be young and just in love with the hobby and without all the strings and nonsense and things that we attach. Now you're just free in creativity and playing and doing it. This was awesome. Thanks everyone for hanging out and going through this with me. Have a great rest of your day, night, whenever you end up watching or listening to this. Game on, everybody. Happy Friday. Talk to you later. Bye now.